All right. Hi, everyone. So this is my first ASMR video. I've been a big fan of the ASMR community for years now. I have a few ASMR artists that I watch pretty religiously. And after years of that, I felt like it was time for me to give back to the community and try my hand at it as well. So today what we're going to do is actually go through my herb collection. So I have a pretty, not sizable collection, but I've got a few things in a few different spaces. And we're just going to go through some of them and see what interesting sounds we can hear. I'm going to be honest, some of these I'm not even 100% sure what's in where. I know I have a lot of them in here. I believe I have some in here. I think I have some in this. And then, please excuse the mess, but I believe I have some up in there in that as well. So we will be going through some of these and we'll see what we cover. And throughout this video, if you have any feedback or any suggestions, I'm very new to this, but like I said, I'm just a big fan of the community and I wanted to give it a shot, and I think we'll get some pretty interesting sounds with some of these herbs, especially in these wooden boxes. Let's go ahead and see what is in drawer number 1. Peppermint. So yeah, as you can see, I don't have name tags on the outsides of them, primarily just because when I got this set up, I was feeling pretty lazy in the moment and I didn't want to bother measuring these out and making something more specific. So I just grabbed these paper leaves that I have and wrote the names of most of these on there. So this is my peppermint collection, and it's pretty sizable. So that's the container. So I've got it pretty well filled, but peppermint's, pretty easy to get a hold of. It's pretty inexpensive. I use this for cooking. I use these herbs for bath sachets or simmer pots. During the winter, my husband and I are a really big fan of making simmer pots. Apologize if you can hear any background noise. We live kind of right over a valley, and near a highway, so we get a lot of highway noise. That's peppermint. Just got a little dust ball in there, but I'll fish that guy out later. All right. Oh, and in here we have Lady's Mantle. This is definitely one that I use more for bath sachets. And I've had this one for quite some time. It's a very sizable collection, as you can see. Hopefully you can hear that. Ooh, so in here we have hawthorn berry. These in particular, you can make a really nice tea from. Focus. There we go. And chamomile, this one probably isn't too surprising. I know chamomile is very popular for teas, for skin balms. It's very soothing. It smells really good, very fresh and relaxing. I like these for relaxing baths that I take. I like them for tea. But they can also be used in, flavorings. You can make, chamomile whipped cream or sort of use them as any sort of an essence. And this is actually not my entire collection of chamomile, if I remember correctly. I believe I have some in another container as well. Vervain. I love the way vervain smells. It has a very clean, woody smell to it. Sorry, I'm trying to get, I have a clip on the Valier mic, and I'm trying to see if I can lean in close enough to pick up the sounds. I think eventually I would love to experiment with the mic setup and put mics maybe underneath the collections. I think you could get some really interesting audio. And hibiscus. This is another pretty popular one. Oh, that's an interesting crunch. Hibiscus is very popular in tea, but I believe it can also be used as a dye, and then like as a natural dye. Oh, juniper berry. This one is one of my favorites. I am a really big fan of forest smells. And obviously, juniper berries don't have a very strong essence and fragrance as is, but I love them in bath sachets. I'm not particularly well-practiced Wiccan. I do some things mostly for the meditation aspect, for the relaxation aspect. I think there's a lot of really pretty self-care elements to Wicca. I like a lot of the messages about returning to nature and finding peace in that. And that's why I have a lot of this. But I'll use juniper berries if I do like a winter solstice ceremony or practice. Oh, comfrey root, okay. I've really only used the comfrey root in bath sachets. And I can't remember. I have the properties of all of these and what they help support written down in a book. I think somewhere in this stack. And so whenever I'm making a bath sachet, I will go through and think about what am I struggling with or what am I trying to focus on healing. And so unfortunately I don't have that information memorized. But I've never had a bad reaction to any of this stuff. But I would recommend if you're thinking of getting into any sort of natural material, I would recommend that you do your research and then, think about any medications you might be on. You don't want to risk anything having sort of a cross-contamination risk. And always talk to a physician. And if you start experiencing any sort of symptoms or allergies, you definitely want to stop. Alright. Oh, there's that other spoon. I was looking for that. Maybe I'll switch to that one. So these are some of my smaller jars. I've got lemon peel and lemongrass. I actually bought these not too long ago when my husband and I, over the winter, we were making a lot of simmer pots. They both obviously smell great, and they smell great in simmer pots. Sorry for my sniffling. We are in spring, and so we are approaching peak allergy season. This one's a bit tight. There we go. So a few things. So first, sorry about that, we have cedar tips. Another one that I use a lot for any solstice. I love these in bath sachets. They make a very good pine and cedar smell, which I'm a big fan of. We have 2 little capsules of wax melts. This one is kind of more of a teal green. And this is just the rest of the lemongrass. I buy a lot of my herbs from 13 Moons online. Another great resource, I used to live in Orlando, and there's a fantastic store there called Avalon, I believe. That's a metaphysical store. They have a lot of really good products. There was also another one that I used to go to. I think it was called the Gypsy Emporium. Oh, are you open? You are open. And just by the look of this, I believe this is more comfrey root. This looks very similar. It smells pretty similar too. And then right down there, oops, we have some myrrh. Another really good one in baths. And then I actually just have some loose incense sticks. These are actually from Payne's Maine products. That's Paines. But they have a lot of really nice little incense products, and they've got a lot that are like cabin themed smells or things like that, which me and my husband are both into. I'm just gonna try and get these back in here without making too much noise. We'll see how that goes. Nice. Oh, and let me put this guy back in here. So that was container number 1. So this is actually something that I picked up years ago at a flea market or an antique store. And this is really the first container that I got to kind of start storing some of my Wicca content. I, at the time, really only like oiled this up. I didn't do much to restore it, and it's one of my projects that eventually I would like to sand this down, restain it, clean up all of the little metal pieces. These actually come out really easily. And then probably clean off the leather handle. This stuff that's up here, so I've got, this is tobacco from we had a bunch of cigars when my husband and I got married that we don't have a humidor, so they just kind of started going to waste, and so we decided to start burning them for tobacco, which is a good smell. And then that's the cauldron that we use to burn them in. Just gonna put this down here. These are just some cards that I was gonna send for Yule and never got around to it. One of those holiday things that you're aspiring for and then it just never happens. This is sometimes if I do like candle magic, I'll use this. And I've just got some loose crystals kind of hanging out on it. And then that is actually the picture we got from an antique store here in town for our wedding. Part of the theme was sort of like eclectic fall. So we had like a different sort of antique item on as the centerpiece for each table. And then I think this has one of either my bouquet or one of the bridesmaid bouquets in it, which were dried flowers. Again, I'll just get that out of the way though. Oops. Alright, so let's see what's in here. Okay, so a few things. We've got orange peels. This is another one that I love to use in baths and simmer pots. It's got a great smell. We've got willow bark. I definitely use this one a lot in baths. It's got a lot of healing properties. It's very soothing. we've got, I think this is mugwort. Yes, mugwort. Just a couple candles, some loose crystals. Again, I have a lot of these written down and described in places. This is Good Luck Oil from 13 Moons. And I believe I just got this for free. Like it said, it's a sample. I think I placed an order for a few herbs and they just threw this in. Sorry, I'm trying to sniff it. Oh, that's nice. It's a very clean scent. Very find it, focus. There you go. Yeah. At some point, I guess I could go through all of my crystals. I have, so what I need to do is probably take photos of all of these, but instead in that same book that I was talking about earlier, I've tried to draw what all of them look like and what they are called and what they're supposed to, you know, help alleviate with. Honestly, I collect crystals because they're pretty. Oops, sorry, they're loud. They're pretty and they're kind of good fidget toys. There's, you know, it's just something about the shape and the way they move and the way they'll feel that I really like. And in here we have a pocketbook of stones that my mother-in-law gave me, and then these really cute little notebooks, and I don't remember where I got these from, but they're very cute, and I always get excited when I burn through one notebook and I get to start up on a new one. So hopefully I'll be able to start getting into these soon. I'm gonna put these back up on the top. I don't remember. Put them right there for now. And in here, so I have a scrying there we go. I don't scry that often. When it comes to sort of, I think a lot of people use scrying for like fortune telling or to help them make a decision or to seek guidance, and I typically just prefer straight tarot readings, but I loved the color of this. I really like the way it hangs. So that was part of why I got it. It was something where I was open to the idea of doing more of it, and so bought one, practiced with it a little bit. It didn't connect with me the same way tarot cards do, but I still really like it. And then this is actually the a gift from my wedding from my childhood best friend. She gave me a few of these little magic jars that she'd sealed, and she actually also wrote the poem that I have framed up there. It was a really, really touching moment. So I have that in there, which it's a little too tight. I'll put it back. And in here, so I have my theme. Let's see if I can get it out. I use this in some rituals, but honestly I use it more for herbs. And I loved the cover that it came with. I believe I got this from 13 Moons as well. And then this, I believe, was an owl feather. I use this in some of my air rituals. So if I want to have the 4 elements present, I'll use a feather. And in here, I just sort of have a ritual plate and blanket for if I need a clean space when I'm doing like a tarot card reading. I might lay that out. I'm worried if I pull some of these out, all this is going to come tumbling down. This is lemon verbena. I've used a lot of this. This was some of the, again, like first herbs I got when I first started getting into it, Wicca and meditation, and my introduction to it. Sorry, I just really want to smell this. I haven't smelled it in a while. Oh, it's so nice. Lemon verbena is great. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision on this. My exposure to Wicca was, I mean, I'd been very connected to tarot even from a young age. And I had friends that were sort of into paganism. But I really got into it for, like I said, the self-care aspect. And this, I believe, is a series of wax sachet, or not wax sachet, yeah, it's a wax stamp tips. So it's plants. It's a lot of plants if I remember correctly. This one's a mushroom, which I loved. This one's a dove, I think. Or maybe a sparrow. A moon with what looks like maybe lilac. This is going to be hard to do one-handed. More plants. Flowers, I think those are roses. I think that's a pine cone, maybe? Or, oh no, that's a fern with a few other kinds of flowers. And then this, because I remember like, oh, this is the Tree of Life. Definitely not going to try and tie this back up one hand. And in the back of this is just some charcoal. This is another empty container. This is a sage stick, juniper sweetgrass. It smells really good. I'm a sucker for anything that has juniper in it, unfortunately. So I don't cleanse that often, like my spaces, primarily because I don't feel like I need to. But rather have it and not need it, I guess. Oh, okay. I was worried it was gonna collapse. So that's this container. And then, okay. Over here, we have, move this back, some runes. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's not gonna be a pleasant sound, sorry. These are, we got these from a run fest. My husband also occasionally does tarot. He's not as connected to it as I am, but he was really interested in trying out runes. So we got these. This is some dried lavender. I use this for so much stuff. I use it to make bath sachets. I use it in tea. I make really good lavender lemonade using this stuff. It's probably my favorite summertime drink is lavender lemonade, and I'm very excited for summer to come so I can start making this again. I have a herbal candle for when you need help making changes. I can be very hesitant to try new things. I have anxiety, and so at the time I bought this because I was entering a new job and I just wanted to have it in case I felt called to use it. And I haven't felt that way yet, but I've been thinking about making another career change, so might come a time. This, I believe, is empty. This was the box that my friend made when she gifted me. Oh no, there's some herbs in here. Woo. Like I said, constantly remembering what I have. Oh right, I remember being excited that she bought me fennel. So there's a few things that she gifted me in here as well, and I need to figure out what I want to dedicate to putting in here. It's a very beautiful box. And let's see. That's an old childhood friend of me and her, photo of me and her, so I'm not going to show that. I have a bunch of incenses from Sea Witch Botanicals. They're one of sort of our newest incense obsession. Whenever we buy new incense products, we buy them from there. We have the Mabon blend, which is really nice. I think I actually might have that burning right now. It's a really good, like, warm smell. You know, vanilla, coffee, bergamot, and spices. I have the Krampus one, which we bought this last winter. I really, really like this one. It's just a very good traditional sort of winter smell. It's got like a very smoky but fresh, you know, like trees and smoking fires and spices. This is the White Lodge blend. I also like this one a lot more. This one smells more distinctly like fir needles and pine compared to the Krampus one. So it's just kind of depending on, like, are you wanting that bright sort of Christmas, or not even Christmas, but just bright winter smell, or the warm winter smell. And then the Litha blend, which is, we've been moving through spring and getting closer to summer. We've been burning this one a lot just to make things brighten up a little bit. Move these. And in here, this is normally where I keep my tarot cards, but it's actually empty right now. I've been sort of recentering with them. I've been sleeping with them under my pillow. More wax melts. This is the guidebook for the tarot card collection that I use. I use the Wildwood Tarot. I'm a really big fan of this deck. I've had it now for, gosh, 6 years, maybe. And I love the artwork. The pieces are a really good blend of old world mythology and folklore, and there's actually a lot in the beginning of the book about anthropology, which was important for me because, again, this stuff works for me, and I believe in what works for me, but I would probably call myself a skeptic traditionally, and so having something that talked about anthropology, which is what my degree is in, is cultural anthropology, was nice because it was sort of connecting to why we as a society are drawn to these sort of things and why they speak to us, and that was really important to me at the time. So I love this collection. I think if you have an opportunity to find the deck and see it, I think it can really connect with a lot of people. There's a lot of versatility in this deck. This is the book that I've kind of been taking a lot of my notes in terms of herbs and the stones that I use and what they look like, and meditations and whatnot. I've got some poems that I'm a big fan of in here. I need to start using it more religiously with writing down more of my tarot readings. I don't do that often, and I want to get more in the habit of it. So hopefully I'll be using this more. I think this was, just a thank you card for placing an order. This is literally an unused drawing pad. I don't know why this is here. I probably should have said in the beginning of this, I need to redo this whole thing. It's just spatially kind of a mess. So that's something that's sort of in the long run a goal. This is a notebook that my husband got me at one point as a gift. I don't even remember what I really have in here. I'm one of those people that will buy notebooks for no reason, and he's one of those people too. So we have notebooks just all over the place. I've like barely used any of this. So I think it's probably over here because at one time or another I probably wanted to start using it for something related to this work and then just never got around to it. I'm gonna try and set some of this back up. I can't remember how I had anything spaced out. Not that it matters. Like I said, I need to redo a lot of this, so. Okay. What else do we have? Part of the reason I also keep these up here, my cats, we have 3 of them. One of them loves to jump up on top of this and then jump up onto either of the bookcases and scream, which is kind of a pain. So I've been keeping this stuff up here so that he won't do that. This is Blackthorn's Botanical Brews. I haven't used this one too much, but there's some really good recipes in here for teas and liqueurs and infusions, which I really like. This is one of the ones that I feel like I've gotten some really good recipes out of. I have other books that are sort of around the same concept that I have felt have not been worth my money, unfortunately, but it's just an empty repurposed container, probably from World Market. We've got chime candles for if I want to do candle magic. And this was so I bought this actually at a like a penny post or something near where we live. I don't use these very much, but I loved the box. I love the idea behind them. It's a very pretty deck. And the cards actually have like a really nice texture. And then let's see what I have in here. Ooh, this is a big boy. I actually might need to put this on the table. Hopefully I'm not getting too loud. I didn't want to do a whisper video. I'm much more into murmuring for myself. So hopefully I'm not getting too loud. This is mostly storage. This is an old notebook that actually I have a lot more writings in. I love this notebook. I think I got this when I was in Ireland, but it's been in here for a while now, and I don't remember why I put it in here. I think just to maybe pad the glass bottles. I haven't been using these for a lot of my newer herb purchases just because they're such an awkward shape. They're really hard to store. This is actually my first tarot deck. People might recognize this. So this was a tarot deck that I bought at Barnes & Noble. Oh God, I guess when I was in high school, so maybe like 2008. But it's just sort of a traditional tarot deck, and I don't use it anymore, but I don't want to get rid of it because it kind of holds a special place in my heart just in terms of being my first deck. And then I have a book on altar design and creation in here. And oh, I think I drew a lot in this one. This seems to be a lot of artwork. None of it good. But I love the way it feels. That sort of old leather sensation. And it smells really good. I'm kind of a sucker for notebooks and old things like that, and so
ones that have a good aroma and smell aged are very appealing to me. Here's the fun part where I get to see if I can put all of these back in here. Hey, okay. Sorry for all the jostling. I have like a Dolby camera prop up for my phone, but and this is who we got the runes from. But I couldn't really figure out a way to set it up and for me to be here comfortably, so I just sort of decided to do this while holding everything, and it definitely makes it a bit challenging. Put that right there. And down here we just have a very old salt lamp. And this is supposed to be my altar setup. There's a little gap in here for me to put a tarot card or an intention. The way I have this whole thing set up right now, I almost never use this thing, and it's such a shame because I want to. I think ultimately what I need to do is clear out that section and basically trade it. It's just that I feel like I'm more likely to use those items, so I need to restructure this whole thing essentially by order of priority, by what I know I need to have easier access to. Because I want this on the top, but I also don't want my cat to jump up on the top of the bookshelves, so I need to do some experimenting. In here, so I have some bells that I bought. We have, this is an old pub cabinet that my husband inherited from his grandfather. I kind of just use the bottom for storage, but we have a few bone pieces, and I apologize. I'll put like a trigger warning edit in the video. If you don't like bone pieces, I apologize. This was the first piece that we got, and this is just a deer skull. My husband used to do field archaeology, and he was out in Texas, and you just find cattle skulls and deer skulls and antler sheds everywhere out there. That's very common, and so he just found this when they were like walking through to get to a dig zone, and so he wrapped it up, brought it home, we dried it out. It was already, I mean, that's what's great about, you know, Florida or Texas or any sort of hot, dry place, is the bones are basically bleached already, so that's how we got that one. These are gar teeth from a field school that he did. This is a single die made out of bone. We got this and a lot of these other bone pieces from what is that company called? They're out in California and San Francisco, and if I can remember the name, I'll put it in the description of the video. But we've gotten a couple pieces from them. This is, dang it, I used to know this. I want to say maybe like a roe deer antler skull. That actually doesn't make sense though, now that I say that. It wasn't an ibex, it was some sort of like African savanna deer maybe. This is like a broom that I got at a Renaissance festival. It matched my outfit and I really liked it. I thought it was pretty. This is very heavy. This is a piece of bison bone. We have a whole bison skull in my husband's closet right now. It was inherited. His grandparents used to live out in Oklahoma, and his grandfather was doing like news reporting, and there was just a guy that had, I think he farmed bison, and he just had a bison skull, and he asked if he could take it, and he said yes. These are just some cute little dudes. This is an incense holder that I actually got from that Payne's Products from Maine that holds those cones that I was showing earlier. I love this guy. This is a fox skull, and this is just a very pretty artwork mushroom. I got this at an antique store in Pennsylvania. As soon as I saw that guy, I was like, well, you're coming home with me. These are just some old antique bottles that came with the pub cabinet. That's literally just like a prop house that we got from Michael's. This is one of my favorite things that my husband had back in his old room. When we moved in together, he brought this. This is a really cool frog statue. I just love him. This we bought from that same store that we got the runes from. These are just some, they used to be Christmas decorations. We've just kind of kept them out. They're just little fox guys. Alright, so I honestly don't even know what I have in some of these. Okay. So this is orange zest. Sorry, I'm just kind of spiraling the container close to the mic. I think it makes some really interesting sounds. That one's empty. This, I'm just gonna put this maybe right here. This is colt's foot. And colt's foot actually has a really interesting texture. It is really soft. Good sort of herbal smell, but a very clean smell. I don't know how to describe it, honestly. Yeah, it's just very clean, very herbal. I love that it's kind of this like spongy, soft texture. That's part of why this used to be in one of those bottles, and it was incredibly difficult to get out. And so I was very excited when I was able to finally relocate it into a drawer. What are you? Oh, you're empty too. Well, there's a jar in there. There's just nothing in the jar. Oh, this is rosehip. This will probably make it interesting. Please pardon the mess. That's the cat toys. Rosehip is very popular in teas. I just dropped a bunch of it on the floor. We're not going to talk about it. The things we do for audio. I
probably should not be touching these with my bare hands. Oh, it smells so good. I'm pretty sure anyone would tell you that, oh, you're putting moisture in your dried herbs because you're touching them with your body's natural oil. And they're correct. But I'm trying to work with what I got here. And this, oh, St. John's wort. Oh, and these are my whole chrysanthemum flowers. So chrysanthemum I use a lot in my bath sachets. I use it in tea. I hope it's able to pick up some of this audio just because I think it makes really interesting sounds. And last container. Oh, more chrysanthemum. That's easy. Yeah, so that is most of my herb collection and sort of Wiccan collection. This sort of got bigger than I thought it was. I was originally just going to do a video about the herbs, but there's a lot of opportunities for good sounds and audio throughout this. Oh, this is a this is sort of a New Year's spell that my husband and I each did. We made a little jar with our intentions for the new year and put some crystals and herbs in there to imbue that. And I've got some oils and fragrances and stuff that I'll burn sometimes. This is, I have a Dremel, and I got into a thing where my dog would pick up sticks on his walks, and if it was like a good shape or an interesting shape, I would bring it home and try to use the Dremel to turn it into something. And it took a really long time, but this is one of the things that I made that I've since held on to. There's just a lot of like beads. I was really into making my own jewelry when I was in undergrad. And so I was like, man, I gotta find something to do with all of these. And I actually really like the way this turned out. It's kind of got like this nest look down here at the bottom. And then all of the gem beads up here at the top with the feathers. So I mean, it's not like I have anything to do with it, but it took me a while to make, and I liked the way it turned out, so I don't have, any desire to throw out yet. And then that is my statue of Hecate. I got this from 13 Moons as well. It's okay. It's tough with statuettes. I think, you can never really know what you're gonna get until you get it. And, I think in retrospect, something that was maybe a little less sexualized and more in line with, what she's sort of representative of, I think would have been nice. Also, the tail of the serpent, and this was in the reviews too, the tail of the serpent had broken off. So I had to reattach it with super glue there. So just, something to be aware of. These are all my little D&D dice collection containers. I've got a few more back behind there. And then these are me and my husband's minis from a D&D campaign that we were in with some friends. But yeah, that is basically it. Please let me know what your thoughts are on this video in terms of the audio, in terms of other kinds of videos that you would like to see. I have a few ideas for things. I've got a couple different kinds of collections. I've got stickers, I've got beads, like I said, that I'm not using, so that'd be an easy one to do. But yeah, I'm just interested in giving back to the community, and I hope that you were able to find this relaxing in some way. I hope it gave you tingles, and I hope wherever you are safe and happy in this moment. And I hope you are feeling healed in whatever action you take next in your life. And I hope you have a beautiful day. But thank you so much for being here with me for this time, and hopefully I will post again soon. But have an excellent sleep or a great restful day. Thank you.